Sports cars from an Indian manufacturer has never happened in the Indian mainstream segment, let alone supercars, and let's just not get started about hypercars. Or should we? Enter the Vazirani Shul, the car that claims to be a hypercar. Well, that's not something extraordinary, but this one's from India. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's from India.
Let's just get started. Vazirani is a 3-year-old company based in Mumbai, India. Its founder, Mr. Chunky Vazirani, is a chassis and homologation engineer and has a huge role in the design of the car. Vazirani, in this age of technologically advanced cars who have lost their soul, want their car to look really good and handle really well. To this company, 0 to 100 kmph times don't really matter. But with 1000 bhp, it better be fast. Vazirani say that they're an Indian company because they want their roots to originate from India. But their design and technical headquarters is in California, which is where the car is mostly going to be built and sold. The design philosophy is strong on the bonnet as well as the sides. And well, it's a hypercar, so it's got to be light. Its underpinnings include a complete carbon fiber chassis, and to propel this featherweight is a tiny jet engine that powers all the 4 individual wheels to produce only about 1000 bhp. Now, because it's a hybrid, you'd think it's heavy, and you'd partially be correct. It does have a battery pack, but because Mr. Vazirani is a true petrol head himself, the battery pack is actually really small, and most of the power of the car comes from the tiny jet engine I mentioned earlier. So well, yeah, it does run on petrol, but that's because the infrastructure is already present. And the purpose of building the Schewel was not really to make an eco-hypercar. The jet engine and the batteries are placed right behind the driver on the central axis. This is to maintain equal weight distribution and aid in better handling. This car does have electric motors and an engine, but it's not a hybrid to save fuel, it's a hybrid to go really, really fast. Vazirani has partnered with Michelin and the Indian Formula 1 team Force India to develop new technologies. Well, other aspects of this car have not been revealed yet because honestly, they have not been decided. The car is set to launch in 2021 and there's a lot of work to be done internally. The external design, however, is mostly going to remain the same, and that's great news because the car looks brilliant. So I've mentioned the word hypercar a lot of times in this video. Well, what is a hypercar? Well, a hypercar is a supercar on steroids. It accelerates faster, weighs less, and always has a top speed greater than 200 miles per hour. These are extreme beasts which are lightweight, fast, and really beautiful, and are always at the cutting edge of technology, which makes them extremely rare and extremely expensive. So, is the Schewel a hypercar? Well, let's see. It certainly looks like one. With Formula 1 technology, carbon fiber construction, and over 1000 horsepower, it certainly will go like one. Here at EQ, we're very excited about the Vazirani Shul, and that's not because it's a hybrid, but because it's India's first hypercar. And although it has a title that most supercars and sports cars cannot surpass, it at the end of the day is a hybrid, and that's great news for everybody. For the people who thought that dinosaurs were the only fuel for the true petrol head and have been blown away by the likes of the McLaren P1, Porsche 918 and the Ferrari LaFerrari, well, here's another entrant into the league of the hybrid hypercars.